Castellanos tonight at 1 for 13 lifetime against Presley. 42,958 seats sold for this game. No one's using their seat right now. Presley working from the first base side of the rubber. He was on the mound when the Astros clinched the ALCS, but that sweep gets the Yankees. Mancini playing behind the runner at first. He goes, and the pitch is lifted to right by Castellanos. Long run for Tucker, over toward the line, and foul territory. Makes the catch, and the Houston Astros do it again. 2022 World Series.
Woo! Woo! Sorry, but woo!
Let's Get To presents Go Go Astros, a focus on H-Town hardball.
Well, welcome, guys. My name is Ed Rivera, but welcome to Go Go Astros World Series Edition. I am going to be your host, okay? I'm Dad Hat Chronicles Podcast. Make sure you guys are following me on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Also, Curve Print Media. Follow you guys. But with me today, guys, right now, okay, we have the celebratory gentleman here right now. I have my good friend, James Christopher of Let's Get To. Look at you, my friend. Brian Arbor, how are you guys?
Does bourbon and champagne go together? Because it's gonna
get better. Tonight it does.
Yeah.
Tonight, any kind of alcohol goes at this point. If you're an
Astros
I got plenty
fan,
here. So if you're an Astros fan, you know, listen, any kind of alcohol tonight is acceptable. So congratulations from the bottom of my heart. Really, guys, you guys played it the right way, and it shows. World Series champs. So
I don't even know what to say.
I was just going to ask you, how are you feeling, guys? Tell me your feelings right now, like in the very moment.
All right. So,
Brian, you go first.
Yeah. So one thing I realized this year when both the Yankee fans and Philly fans were yelling, "We want Houston," is the Astros are Bama. We are, you know, to use Jeff Passan's term from Thanos, we are inevitable. Our team is inevitable. And, okay, yeah. It's baseball, so nothing's inevitable. And that has been, you know.
One of the craziest years.
Yeah, that's been sort of doom thing. But, you know, this is a team that has now won 2 World Series titles, that has had 4 100-win seasons in the last 6 years, that has won 5 AL West titles, because it has developed into this player development machine. It's able to take not necessarily the top prospects when they're 18 years old, when they're 16 years old and being signed out of internationally, and turn them into, you know, the guy who got traded for Josh Fields into a guy who can hit the ball over the batter's eye.
Brian, I'm going to interrupt for 1 second because breaking my text message, but I've spoken on the show. Ed, you've heard the story 1,000 times. Yep. Brian, you've heard the story 1,000 times of my son getting booed and then a Dodger fan being like, "That's fucked up, and let me send him some Astros gear." Well, we become very close friends. He's a Dodger fan, and he just said, "Congrats, and you're welcome." Sorry, Brian, continue.
Yeah. So my broader sort of reflection is this is the golden era of Astros baseball. It's because they have gotten to a master's level or a PhD level of player development. And again, the stars tonight were, you know, a guy who they got for Josh Fields. Just one scout stood on the table and said, "I can't believe you didn't sign him 6 weeks ago. Go get this guy now." A guy that I signed for $10,000 when he was 20 years old in the Dominican, which is essentially, you know, you're a senior citizen. You should be an ARP. And, you know, and I'll add Ryan Presley to the list here, because Ryan Presley, right, is a guy who seemed to be an average middle reliever for the Twins, and the Astros figured out, no, you spin the ball better than anyone else in baseball. We should go get you. And we should give some, you know, 2 major leaguers. They 2 future major leaguers this year, and it's that's the story of the Astros. That's why they are the champs in 2017, but 5 years later, the champions, the World Series champions, they've been able to do something really remarkable and exceedingly hard. And, I'm grateful as a fan that I've gotten to watch it.
Well, before I answer it, Ed, I want to do a shout out to Matt Barry, who is one of the best friends of the show. He is one of the members of the front office of the Phillies AAA team, and he's just a class act. You've heard me talk about him a million times on the show. And look, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at, right off camera, I'm going to get really emotional. I am looking at the Western Division Championship pennant from 1986. And
wow.
That's
right here, James.
I get so stressed out with these games because I'm just used to the bottom falling out. And what it means for this to be the way it is, I just don't even know how to articulate it.
I want to touch on something that not a lot of people really have, said too much about, but tell me how you guys feel about Dusty Baker. Like, really, what has he been able to do, handle everything since, right? We're not going to talk about the past, but it's handling everything and the way that he has been able to manage and it's an all-star caliber team.
Well, it's funny. And Brian, I'm going to cut you off because you're always going to come back with this like analytical answer, which is always right. And my head and heart answer is always wrong. I do understand and really did understand why the hire was made. He became a shield. You cannot boo Dusty Baker.
You can't.
No. And there have been times where, I wouldn't say I've been as reactionary as people online about his managing, but there's been times when you're just like, okay, I don't quite understand. But you can't help but think he's an amazing guy, and he has been just through everything. Mm-hmm. Because you think about, he talks about 25 years ago like it was yesterday, which means he was living through times when it wasn't okay for a black person to do certain things. Like, so between him and Trey Mancini, man, I cannot be happier for those two individuals. Brian.
I'm glad you said his name. I'm glad you said Trey Mancini, right?
Who contributed.
Listen, the guy was in. We all know he will always retire as a Baltimore Oriole, as he should.
Sure.
Right? But the fact that he was brought in, he was and given an opportunity to finally go in and get to the World Series. You cannot root against those two guys. Those are like the two nicest guys. Those two gentlemen are like class act, right? You just have to root for them. If you don't, something's wrong with you.
Brian, did you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, I give a lot of analytics-based answers because I can understand analytics, but of course, humans are humans.
Yeah.
The ability to make humans, right, do the right thing.
Yeah.
To work and pull together, to
Agreed.
Not have 26 different egos pulling apart is not easy work. And it is work that's impossible to quantify. It is really hard to understand. But the job of a major league manager is much less about how they fill out the lineup card and much less about whether they order the hit and run than it is about getting people to work together, to pull together, to have the same goal, to be able to make that work in the context of people having individual egos and individual goals to make all their work together. And Dusty Baker's talents lie in that area.
Yeah, agreed.
So yeah, I can't quantify it, and that's fine because this is not a job.
There's some things that you just cannot quantify.
No.
And Dusty Baker is not a quantifiable man.
No. So occasionally we get frustrated and occasionally we sort of do whatever. But the big thing is, right? Part of why they hired him, right, is because Dusty Baker will just diffuse media situations. So the players can focus on their job of playing baseball and not have to focus on whatever the biggest sort of media contretemps is. And they don't last very long. Some of that's just the nature of Houston media, but a lot of that is, again, Dusty Baker is good at what his job is. And if you understand what his job is, You know, we spend a lot of time on that. We spend a lot of time on this podcast trying to figure out what the lineup is and, you know, what the bullpen's decisions are. Those are smaller decisions. Those are smaller things than just, you know, hey, let's get everyone, you know, let's get everyone on the same page. Let's get everyone together.
The fact that, right,
Well
you
said.
started the year, the way that, like, you know, how baseball season
We have
started.
breaking news, Ed.
Yes,
I hate
sir.
to interrupt. Jeremy Pena has been named MVP of the World Series. What a rookie season.
So let's talk about Jeremy Pena. Let's talk about him, right? Because he replaced an Astros icon, guys. Like you know what I mean? Like he kept rookie replacing an all-star caliber shortstop, and what he has been able to do all year and now into the World Series has been mind-blowing, in my opinion. Like I've been super impressed with the kid. That's like I've never seen anything like that, and good for him. Good for him to be MVP. Good for him.
Brian, I'll let you take this one, and you can begin by telling me that you told me so back in March.
I also, the most popular post on my Substack was, you know, they should have matched the offer for Correa. You know, so, you know, but one thing one thing I thought I saw in the minor league numbers, and more importantly, in the projections for the major leagues, is that Jeremy Pena would be an average major league shortstop. And here's the thing. He's not an average major league shortstop. He's a well above average major league shortstop. I wrote a piece on Pena.
With a World Series championship ring.
That's right. Yeah. A LCS MVP and World Series MVP.
That's pretty good for a short, an average shortstop.
Yeah. Had you told us 12 months ago that, you know, okay, well, you lost this World Series, but 12 months from now, not only you win the World Series, but your shortstop will be the MVP of both the LCS and the World Series. James and I would have believed you. And cheers to Carlos Correa. Thank goodness he re-signed, right?
Yeah, and so, you know, for context, like in many ways, Ed, he was the one hole because I didn't. It's not that I didn't believe the projections that the Astros had.
Right. Yeah.
I just didn't believe them in year one. And I just kept thinking, you've got this team and you're going to replace a bat and the most important infield.
Your captain.
And in the most important infield position was the rookie. I just didn't know if it would work. And I mean, I've never been happier to be wrong. And Jessica was like, I don't know, he's cute. I believe in him. And so I've never been.
My wife would say the same thing. So
yeah, she thinks he's cute, and he's cute. So
it turns out we are selling blue jeans.
We really are. So I've never been happier to be wrong about something than that. So, and in many ways, he's just as much a gamer as Carlos.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the thing you can't measure.
Yeah. Again, we're going back to this quantifiable thing. Like there's just some things you just cannot, like once those lights turn on, I mean, that is it. We are playing, you know, in between those two foul lines, we are playing baseball and we do not care about anything else.
Hey, there was a term in a Jake Kaplan article, and shout out to Jake, wherever he is tonight, whatever his emotions are tonight. But in a Jake Kaplan article about Pena in spring training, and the quote describing him is that he's addicted to effort.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's really good. And you also saw that in how he addressed some of his weaknesses during the season.
That's good.
That he got better at strike zone judgment. He was chasing the ball less, and that really paid off in the playoffs. That he was able to. That's why he's able to get so many hits. Is that he wasn't constantly chasing sliders a foot out of the strike zone, which James and I got to watch him do a whole bunch in over the summer.
Yeah.
But he worked to get himself better. You know, so part of, you know, Ed, going back to, you know, why do managers matter? You know, part of it is, yeah, here's what your flaws are. Here's our plan to fix it. Here's what you've got to do to work to get it there. And do you want to do this?
All right.
You know,
and we go back to Dusty, right? Like, I mean, it does take a lot for someone of that caliber to tell you, sit you down and tell you, hey, these are the things that you need to work on. And if you want to stay up here, kind of situation, right? So, I mean, he pushed the right buttons, and look at you guys.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is when we think about some of the dusty choices, and I think lots of people thought go to the bullpen super early with hey, Craig's on, what's up? Anyway, we thought go to the bullpen early on game 1, and then or go to the bullpen early in game 3. And in so many ways, I don't know that we're here now if he does go to the bullpen that early, because he recognized this is 7 games and I need my horses for the end. And like, we obviously all of a sudden, starting in game 5 and in game 6, we're hitting relievers we didn't touch. They didn't. And is that because they saw less of them?
Could be. It most certainly could be. But you know what? I want to ask you guys, because as you guys well know, my team, Cleveland, right? I want to hear your guys' opinion going to the beginning of the season, how your initial thought of how this year was going to go compared to how this year ended, because I'm sure is a little different than what you guys expected.
I will tell you this, Ed. I had us in the ALCS, but not winning it on the first episode of Go Astros.
Interesting. So even going back to the first episode of Go Astros, you're like, they're going to make it to the ALCS. They're just not going to get past that.
And it was that hole. And it's so funny to me because if you look down in the comics, Craig wants to know, what do you think Correa is feeling right now? Look, I think Correa, I don't think he's anything but happy. I don't think there's a minute.
I don't think Correa is the kind of kid that would be upset that he was not the one there, right? Yeah. He did what he wanted to do for him and his family, and you cannot hate him for that.
No.
And I assume he's texting Lance and Jose.
Absolutely.
And he's all in their messages right now because he's happy for them as individuals.
Not only that, but he's going to be seeing some of those guys playing in the
World Baseball Classic,
the World Baseball Classic, correct? So, but what about you, Brian? Tell me how, like, your initial thought of the team at the beginning of the year compared to now. How was that?
Yeah, in spring training, I thought they would win the AL West, but they would win it, with a win total in the mid to low 90s.
Wow. Okay.
That's where they seem to be for. And so, what made a difference this year? Number one, Justin Verlander pitched like Justin Verlander and not a guy who just returned from Tommy John surgery.
Correct. I agree. Yeah. 2,
Fromber took another step, and we saw that again tonight. And, I'm going to stick. I took the Astros in 6 with Fromber as MVP as my prediction for this series, and I'm going to tell you, I was that close. So,
I had Astros in 6 with, I think, Bregman as my MVP, and it's interesting that it went to Pena, almost because you could have. No, I mean, I guess Pena clearly had the best offensive performance. I might have said Presley with him having. Didn't he have basically 4 saves, or he closed down 4 of these games? Like. But it was a really team effort. Like, and it really felt like if you got Schwarber and Harper out, gold.
Castellanos really didn't show up at all during the series. I mean, he had a couple good hits, but nothing really that would tell me, hey, he's a difference. Harper, yeah, absolutely. Schwarber, yeah. Those guys are just beasts. You get those 2, and obviously you saw what happened, but I'll be honest, I had them going full 7. I thought the series was going to go full 7. Yeah. This was one of those series where it was evenly matched, and it was not a situation where we were talking about when your team won the AL side, right, against the Yankees, where it was just a complete and total domination.
Yeah. And the thing about the LCS is it was a sweep. It was 4-0, and they had one game where it was a
one competitive game.
Yeah, but I think there were 2 1-run games and a 2-run game. They were close games, but it just felt like the Yankees. Those games could have gone on twice as long, and the Yankees wouldn't have scored a lot.
Agreed.
Yeah, so it felt.
Can we stop and just reflect on the fact that Yordan Alvarez began this in game 1 of the playoffs and ended it in game 13 of the playoff. By the way, I did that math in my head just now, and I went to film school, baby.
Hey, I was a communications major, so I am not math here, so we're good.
You and I are together, Ed.
I will do my side job of crunching election numbers this week. So
there you go. So overall, do you think now, obviously I don't want to go too far into the future and all that, but like, do you think that this team, the way that is built right now, I'm on ESPN right now, do you think this is a repeat team?
Repeating's really hard. No team,
especially in baseball.
No team's done it this century.
How insane is that?
It's not, right? Because it's baseball, right?
Yeah, but I think in many ways you're right. I think it's insane, and it's why baseball is badass. Because
thank you.
You know, it isn't like Golden State rolling all over. It's like the debate over whether the Astros were a dynasty or not, and it's almost like, well, do you even? It's got to meet the dynasty definition for what a dynasty would be in baseball 2022, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those things because, you know, and I'll say this is that, you know, you saw the Dodgers, they were a 100+ win team out, right? You got the Braves, you got the Yankees, again, another team that was, you know, they were crowned the World Series, you know, favorites, right? The Yankees and the Dodgers, and, you know, by every single media outlet. And look what happened. One of them went out early and the other one got swept. Couldn't even win a single game in the ALCS. So that's crazy. That's, you know, again, we're talking about dynasty here. Like that's pretty good for you guys. You guys are looking, your future for this Houston Astros team is looking really good right now.
And we have a Phillies fan that was watching. I don't know if he's still there, but you know, I don't think you can say enough about the Phillies. It was, you know, it's funny because there was a lot of debate online, and I chalk up the debate, Ed and Brian, to people being prepared for the Astros to lose it by saying, well, this isn't the same as the Braves rallying last year or the same as the Nationals because they got Bryce Harper back. They got all these. I mean, yes, look, they are the big payroll, but for anybody who thinks baseball is boring, for anybody who thinks baseball is anticlimactic, watch this series again. I was unable to
watch this whole playoff series.
For fully half of it, I could not look at the TV.
Like this whole playoff series, both National and American League, it was fun. It was competitive, right? And they came to play. That's what it is. Philly came to play, and you got, like you said, you have to give credit to Philadelphia because that was they backed themselves into the playoffs. Yeah. How crazy is that, right? Like they backed themselves into the playoffs, and look what happened. Whoa, look at that. How are we feeling, my friend? Tell
Andy's
me.
Back, baby.
Andy, talk to me, my friend. Talk to me about your feelings right now.
I'm irritated with my daughter right now. But beyond that,
well, we're parents, so that's we get that.
I mean, that's a perpetual thing. It's hard to put into words. I think my hesitation here is that I've had to listen now to two different people on the TV say that now the Astros have a legitimate title, which is a little bit irritating.
Right.
But
listen, it is what it is. You're gonna hear it all week, or you're gonna hear it for a while. Don't let it get to you, man. Listen, you guys want it, okay? They can say whatever they want, and they can say whatever they're going to say because you know what? You guys earned that damn thing.
Once we got Schwarber out in the 8th inning, I was 99% there, and I teared up a little bit at the third out. Although
I've cried on the show one time already, Andy. We're fine.
A fly out to foul territory is not quite as dramatic as turning a double play. Or
but he ran that ball. He ran for that thing.
Oh yeah,
it all worked. I was worried that the fans at that part of the field boxes were going to grab him and take him into the stands. So And
Thank God for the netting now, huh?
Yeah, I think Kyle Tucker probably would have appreciated it at that point.
But the best part of that was looking at Mancini.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We got over there and hugged him and ran in and threw his glove, and
Yeah.
Mancini has been through so much in baseball and so much in life, and he gets to be a World Series champion. He gets to enjoy this wonderful moment.
And got a base hit.
Yeah.
He got a base. He broke the string.
Good for him. Again, yeah.
Was he the first hit? Because both Andy and I were like, well, he's going to get screwed today. Because I don't. Was he the first hit?
I don't know if he was the first hit. I just remember watching Wheeler. Both of us, I think we're going, well, he doesn't appear to be injured anymore. So 97, 98, 97, 98. Yeah, Mancini's going to get eaten alive.
Yeah, you're right. That was the phraseology you used.
Eaten alive. Well, that's pretty, some warnings there, my friend. What are we drinking now, Andy?
We have breaking news. Jim is checking out of the Astros shop, and he has spent $614.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I've got some stuff in a cart right now, and I realize it doesn't matter if I press buy or do it in a few minutes.
Do it now, do it later. You might as well just do it now and join Jim in the.
It won't show up before Thanksgiving anyway.
Hey, guess who's going to the MLB store tomorrow?
Oh yes.
I love this.
I have to go to work about 2 blocks away, so I'll make a nice little step over during lunch break. And
there you go.
I'm on my favorite website, 47 brand, and they already have their World Series hats, their T-shirts. They got everything.
I looked before we got on. I 17 different emails from various vendors, from Baseballism to Fanatics to MLB Shop. I've got no shortage of options. The thing I'm going to want, if we have anybody listening that knows how to get this, for the 2017 World Series, the Houston Chronicle did a press plate of their sports page for the day they won the World Series. I have that hanging in my office. I want the equivalent of that for 2022. That I'm willing to pay real money for.
And I have that. I have one of those. If I'm looking at again right now, framed.
Yep.
Ed, you're in charge of the show, but I want to ask Andy a question.
Go for it.
I got a little teary-eyed, Andy, because Ed asked me how I was feeling, and the first thing I can see is that 86 pennant. And we finally win a championship, and look, the team and the media tried to take that away from us. How do you feel now? Because you remember Phillies Astros in 1980. I do.
I am that old. Thank you.
Wow. Thanks.
I was in my 30s when that series happened. I think it's great anytime we can beat a National League team, because that means we're in the World Series right now. So fantastic.
Hey, we beat an NL East team. The curse is gone.
Yeah, we broke that streak too. Did it in 6 games. Didn't have to go to 7, because I know some of us were playing the bad juju game up there in the top corner about this whole thing's over. It's over now. Oh, Schwarber hit a home run. I hope we can get him tomorrow.
I gotta make this connection because both
I had to go to the liquor store yesterday to get this, and I can't tell you how nervous I was walking in that I was jinxing.
I snuck this into the house because if Jessica would have seen it, she would have yelled at me for tempting, like yelled
Jessica,
at me.
Wherever you are at your wedding.
First of all, Patrick Larson is on. It is still his birthday. Happy birthday,
happy birthday, brother. Patrick.
And thank you. Only Andy knows this, but Jessica was coming up with songs for everybody's at bat in Game 5. Yuli, don't swing at that shit. She was just like, and I was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm helping them."
And then she stopped. And how did we win any more games?
So I want to make a quick connection here because both you, Jim, and our mutual friend Paul, you guys are exactly the same when it comes to this World Series games. You guys were both downers the whole series. Like, we're going to lose. We're going to lose. This is what's going to happen. This is going to lose. We're going to lose. We're not going to win again. We're not going to win again. Both of you. This is hilarious. It was, I enjoy this very much as someone who obviously his team didn't make it. I enjoy this from the outside looking in. It was extremely funny.
But Ed, you're an Indians fan, so you are the same.
Oh,
and
very much so.
you know what I mean?
The whole year.
Yeah. You're going to feel the same way. Like, I'm sure in 2016, you were cautiously optimistic.
Listen, let's not talk about that series, man. Let me tell you. I cried.
I think most of us grow up, unless you are from New York and only a part of New York, waiting for the other shoe to drop when it comes to your baseball team.
100%.
I mean, you just do. And I think that's one of the things that makes what happened tonight such an incredible thing, because there's so many seasons where, God, I hope we just get to 500. God, I hope we just win a couple of series towards the end.
No, it's funny, Andy, you say that, because I was texting with our friend Emily Nyman, who runs Breaking Balls Pod, which is one of my favorite ones. And she was just like, why aren't you more confident? I was like, Andy and I celebrate getting the 82nd win. Like, that's every year. Hey,
82.
We made it.
182. Can't have a losing season now.
We're good.
Well, and I mean, the other thing
Happy August 15th.
Yeah, you literally don't know how long this window is going to be open either.
No, you don't.
You know, I hope, and I know we're going to talk about it on future shows. Our team's not terribly old, but it takes a great combination of skill and luck and circumstance to reach the pinnacle of this sport and do it over and over and over again.
Brian, you want to repeat that stat again?
About
repeating in the World Series?
It hasn't happened this century.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, just you have to embrace it, but just getting there is so hard that you just expect it's not going to happen. That's
very hard.
That's how it's not like football. Football's different. Football, you can look at the team and go, this is a physically dominant team. And as long as you don't have Jimbo Fisher as your head coach, you're probably going to win games.
Listen, I'm a Browns fan, so
that's where I am today with that. Or if your team doesn't say Oilers or Texans on it, you're going to win some stuff.
I just want to say this to you, Andy. I mean, you could have signed Brian Kelly back then, and that really would have worked out better.
Well, he wouldn't have had to do a foghorn leghorn accent for the first 6 months of the
A
job.
little more Western than what he tried, but
I'm guessing
I wonder where that exit
say whatever
went.
the hell he wants to tonight and be okay with it.
Yeah, he can say
whatever
anything he wants.
He can say whatever he wants. He
beat
manned
the big boys.
Went for 2, and that is the least important victory my team scored. One of my teams scored tonight.
There you go.
But you know what's funny, Andy, because you brought up the comparison to football, and like I'm sitting here and I'm ADDing everywhere. I'm half drunk. First I was drinking sadly, and now I was drinking to just be able to ignore it. Then I was drinking sadly, and now I'm celebrating. But I've gotten about 15 text messages and about 15 Twitter messages from fans of completely different teams that were like, I wasn't rooting for the Astros, but I was rooting for you. And I don't think you see that in football. And I think it's beautiful because I think all of us can understand that baseball is so hard.
It's 162 games just to get to the playoffs.
Yep.
Right? Think about that.
And then the playoffs takes the 162 games and throws it out the window.
Yeah.
You know,
and then you're right back to 0-0, and then off you go.
Yeah, the advantage you get for that is very small, as witnessed by the fact we weren't playing the top seed, the Dodgers. We weren't playing the second seed, the Braves, or the third seed, the Mets, the 300-win team. We were playing the sixth seed, the team that would have been there if they hadn't changed the rules.
Yeah. And I do think the best team in the National League, because I think we would have matched up much better against some of those other teams you just mentioned.
No, they don't have Bryce Harper, and that turned out to be a really big factor in the National League playoffs.
Correct.
And less of a factor in the World Series because the Astros pitching is that dominant.
And I think that's the big thing. Phillies fans and some I talked to, I was in Philadelphia earlier this week, yesterday, as a matter of fact, and they were very much to a man underestimating how much better the Astros pitching staff is from top to bottom than anything they've had to face so far this year. Because even when you're talking about the Mets at full health with Scherzer and DeGrom, and then they're back into their bullpen, there's still some guys in there that you hope to see during a game.
The Mets have 3 great pitchers and probably 2 to 3 pretty good pitchers. But there's so many more than that.
Yeah, in the Dodgers, maybe they're a little bit comparable, but they were hurt towards the end of the year.
Mhm.
A lot of their guys weren't at full health.
They don't have the top. They don't have the top end of pitching that the Astros do, particularly with their health situation.
Well,
we
and
walked
we can
into
talk about this, like,
we walked into a playoff situation healthy,
Yeah,
I was
which
just
not
gonna
last
say,
year.
not necessarily hot, but very consistently winning games. If anything, I think we were a little bit all concerned about our offense consistently scoring runs because that's just something we didn't do a lot this year.
yeah.
and they still didn't do a lot in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They just did enough.
I mean, these were all close games, so let's
I
say
mean,
that there was.
If they came back and told me that Yordan Alvarez's 450-foot home run counted for 2 runs, I wouldn't turn it down.
Yeah.
No. And something that I think the three of you are saying, and I completely 100% agree with you is, yes, it takes skills and obviously a little bit of money, but also luck. Luck has a lot to do with this. And people really underestimate the amount of luck that it needs to really do this.
I'm glad you brought up luck because you and I were talking, and honestly, I think the Guardians would have been a much tougher matchup for the Astros than the Yankees ended up being.
Yep.
It's
just there's some things that just didn't go their way, and boom, there it goes. Luck.
And the Astros strike out a lot of batters, and the Guardians don't strike out, and so that would have been a strength against strength matchup that would have been very different. And I don't think would have gone quite as quickly to the Astros the way they don't allow home runs, and the Yankees hit a lot of home runs, which was
I got to give a shout out to my Guardians. I'll be honest. I mean, I thought that they were not going to make it. I thought they were going to be third best in their divisions. And look at them. 4 gold gloves, guys. 4 gold gloves.
Well, and the thing about the Guardians, right, is lots of young players, and you can go like, okay, we just make the right addition.
Yeah.
We could
a lot of tinkering happened during the year. A lot of tinkering.
Yeah.
So again, luck though, right? Like, I mean, you got to be able, and then also Dusty was able to go ahead, you guys would agree, right? He was able to position the people in the right spots for them to be successful.
Yeah. Well, and one thing we talked about this year is sort of like Dusty Baker bullpen management can be a wild ride. Dusty Baker bullpen management where he doesn't have a bad choice.
Yeah, and that's true. Like any one of us could have managed that bullpen.
Yeah. And, that's a testament again to, it's a testament to, I don't know that no one thought Rafael Montero was this good. I think they got a little bit lucky there. But again, we talked about Presley was real skill to find the right guy there. They developed Brian Abreu, who, again, such big shoulders.
The thing I remember about the Presley trade, Brian and Andy and Ed, was we were already well into, oh man, if the Astros are just traded to get someone, we shouldn't have traded that guy because they see something we don't. And I think that myth maybe really began with Morton into Garrett Cole, but yeah, Presley has really turned into nails. And I was concerned about him having a 5-out save on Thursday night, and I didn't know what it was going to look like. And I mean, obviously getting the insurance run helped, even though they didn't need it. But I was just really impressed with all of the bullpen this season, all of
it. Again, a little bit of luck, sprinkle into all of this, right? Yeah. And then you got success. But don't get me wrong. The Houston Astros are a very dominant team.
Yeah.
Right? Once you guys took over a hold of first place, did not let it go. And that was it. And that helped you guys out. That helped you guys also. And like we were saying, it was like, okay, you guys went into healthy. It's like, yes, that bye with you guys helped you guys, get healthy at the right time. Some people didn't take advantage because obviously the Dodgers had it as well. And what happened to the Dodgers?
Yeah. I want to go back to Andy about all of this too. Just.
I'm shopping. Leave me alone. What?
Oh, here we go. Press it. Hit the button.
By the way, with tax, $722.46.
Congratulations. We're recording this for posterity. I don't think I want to necessarily.
I will add this for posterity. I have a side job doing election analysis for one of the networks, sort of off screen. We rehearsed today. Someone came up to me today and kind of whispered, came up to my desk, whispered me in the ears, like, be real careful what you say tomorrow about the Astros, because so-and-so over there is a big Phillies fan, and she's not going to take it well. So
is this someone that controls your future employment at said news?
No, this is someone who controls whether I get a hotel room or not when I work till 3:00 in the morning on election night. So
I can get you a hotel room.
I understand that, but on the list of there are people who determine your paycheck, and then there are people who determine whether your job works well or not. The people who actually make the one run. She's one who actually makes the one run. Makes the world run.
I would say this is what I would do, just for the heck of it. I'm very pleased with the outcome of the game, and I'll take that from our friend Paul Caputo. Every time his team won, I'm very pleased with the outcome.
I know, yeah, but that's like, you don't test the baseball gods, dude. Like, you have to be careful.
Yeah, you don't test it.
I had a priest once, and he said, "No, we don't pray for specific outcomes. We just pray for God's will to be done." He's from Ireland, so say in the Ireland Belgium World Cup qualifier, may God's will be done, and may God's will have been done here in the World Series. Amen.
Sorry, Ed, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna see, like, your thoughts so far. Like, obviously we've been talking for a little bit over 40 minutes here, and when do you think, in your opinion, will it sink in that this is happening, right? Did it sink in when you spend that $700, or
No.
will it sink in later on in the week?
No, the only thing that sunk in since I spent the $700 was, damn, I wanted a polo too. So it's the only thing that sunk in. I don't know, man. Well, first of all, my good luck charm isn't here. So I was supposed to be at a wedding tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And Jess was like, look, you can't go. I have to go. You cannot go. And I love the person who got married. And it's funny because Jess has always said, if I die, I want you and Sarah to get married because I think you guys would be happy together. And so I love her, but she's like, you can't be there. You have to be here. And
you would not be physically there.
Yeah. And until I get a baby making kiss, this thing hasn't started. So we're
I got a text from a friend of mine to my one of my high school buddies to our group that he had to go to a quote unquote stupid ass dinner tonight that his wife had arranged. I'm sorry, looking at the text here. His first wife had arranged. So
oh my God. Well, sometimes we got to do things for our wives.
Congratulations to the divorce attorneys who were getting to work on that one, apparently. So
how about you, Andy?
I mean, I had to go watch with some friends for a while. Excuse me. Unfortunately, my daughter showed up with her dog, and that became an issue. So I had to take that dog home and was able to get home so I could watch. I got home in time to see the Alvarez home run, which was great. I can.
Why pitch to the guy? Why pitch him?
He needed to pitch for him. Alvarado, which is another thing.
Would have been worse in that moment.
Yeah, it's true.
John Smoltz kept calling Alvarado the rest of the game. I don't know if anybody caught that.
It's John Smoltz, though, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I always thought John Rocker was the guy on that Braves team that was a little bit off, but evidently not.
Apparently not. No, actually, it was both of them.
Just in a different way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still I had to find new coverage because Fox 26 in Houston has cut to local coverage of the World Series ground instead of getting to hear my good friend Frank Thomas talk about what happened.
Your good friend Frank Thomas, because you on one first class flight.
Hey, 3 hours and 15 minutes on a United flight right next to each other. That man makes first class look small.
That man makes our plane look small.
Oh my God, yeah.
He sat next to me. I felt so bad. I wanted to offer him the aisle, but I realized that he was going to sleep and I would never be able to get up. And, I'm an old man and I have bladder issues. But he literally knees up. I can't even do it here for the camera. Knees they were at the tray. He couldn't even bring the tray over his lap and just hunched over.
Wow.
First class. Yeah, he's a huge man.
He needs
Didn't
Poppy-
he win? Now, didn't he win? Rookie of the
David
Year?
Ortiz is more normal sized human being than Frank Thomas.
But didn't the Big Hurt win MVP? Was it Rookie of the Year he won the same year as Bagwell, or was it MVP?
MVP. They both won in '94.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. For a very long time, a lot of their like weird things paralleled each other. They're born on the same day.
They're born on the same day.
Yeah.
Are they really?
What?
Yes.
Yeah, they're born on the exact same day.
And I will tell you that I'm going to save some of my Frank Thomas conversation for a different show, but I will tell you this: in his opinion, Yordan Alvarez will shatter, not break, shatter any record that Jeff Bagwell holds with the club, provided he stays there 10 years.
Which I think he will.
Yeah, you sign him.
Patrick Larson again asking us what we think about Jeremy Pena, and just
He was awesome.
We've talked about him earlier, right? Like, we're saying is this kid replaced your all-star shortstop, and took over.
My brother Tim is on the stream.
What's going on, Tim? How are you, man?
Hey,
Tim,
damn!
you're talking to Brian Arbor, Andy and Ed Rivera, who from the Dad Hat Chronicles, who's being our guest host because he's not an Astros fan.
I am not.
He's moderating our alcohol imbued.
Tell me how you feeling, man. Tell me. Give me your feelings right now.
It's weird. So going through 17 and that kind of up and down craziness that it was, this one felt after game 5 felt like more in control, or game 4 more in control, right? We felt pretty dominant at that point. The heat was dusted off the Phillies a little bit. So I felt good. I felt like stronger the whole time. It felt like game 7 in 2017 where we're just – the only way we can lose is beating ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's a shock that you and I came from the same vagina, because
I was gonna say, did you get all the confidence and Jim got no confidence?
Dude, you guys took the words out of my mouth. I was like, how is it that this is two different? Because
I felt good coming in. I did. I felt strong.
Jim did not.
I did not.
Yeah, Jimmy's always a little bit of a worrier.
A little bit?
A little bit. But, yeah, no, felt good. I was in my spot. I had my jersey on, my season hat on. I was sitting next to a fire that was probably too hot. So all the things were right in place. Yeah, it was good. It's kind of funny because, the first thing I think of is like, how do we feel about that not re-signing Correa now? I mean, do we feel pretty good about that?
It worked out.
Yeah, it worked out, right?
As someone who's not a Houston Astros fan, I'm like, you guys have some at least themselves right now. Some
for
cheddar.
right now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pay him at some point. Yeah.
That kid
I
I have to explain some connections here, because Tim, Brian, who is our co-host of Go Astros with Andy, is your former religion teacher's son, Miss Arbor.
Oh my gosh, I used to play with Blake, like as a play date.
That's my brother. So
yeah. Okay. We know each other by proxy. Yeah. I
Indeed.
hang out with Blake all the time.
Excellent.
That's awesome. Yeah. Actually, I did it when I was working for AT&T. Sidebar. I did a repair for your parents' house over there off of Westgate or Washington. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So it's awesome, man. We're champs again. Dynasty. Is it Dynasty yet? I don't know. Feels good.
Well, we'll see. I mean, two World Series so far. That's not bad.
2 World Series. 6 years with the ALC, the AL appearances, AL championship appearances. So
yeah, no, not bad at all. Now, let me ask you guys. Obviously, Jerry Pena was named the MVP for the World Series. Do you guys agree with that, or in your opinion, do you think it should have been someone else?
I mean, honestly, can I say just I think Ryan Presley needed to look. Ice in his veins, that man.
Yeah.
Like
We agree with you.
crazy.
Well, and
Yeah, I think you could make an argument for Framber Valdez as well.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Because Brian had predicted Frommer at the beginning, and honestly, yeah, like it's so funny because Andy and I play a game and it's good Fromber, bad Fromber. Like which is going to be? Like we try to predict before each start because
which one are we getting?
Which one are we getting? Because before 2021, it was always one or the other.
Yeah.
And I said great Fromber, and I think he pitched great and answered the bell and kept them. It's actually how the Astros have succeeded the entire the sixth run. We might not beat up your starter, but when we get to your bullpen, we're gonna beat up your bullpen, and that only works if your starter keeps them close, and he did that.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, does Christian Javier get him up?
Bottle number 2.
Oh yeah, there you go. You guys are enjoying
it. Bad to mix champagne and bourbon?
Not tonight, it isn't.
Let me know in the morning.
Okay, yeah.
And by the way, we go back an hour. Just want you guys to know that too.
Thank goodness I need it after all this.
Hey Tim, over under $600. How much do you think I spent at the team store already?
Over. Heads up let me tell you something. If it weren't all snapbacks and dad hats, I'd probably spend the same amount.
They got
to come in.
They got a
if you go to
now, Tim and Ed are gonna fight.
Yeah, bro, what's up, man?
The fitteds, the 5950s, low profiles are already on there.
Are they on? I checked right after the last out. As soon as they posted, that's the last time I checked.
There's a couple sitting in my basket right now.
Okay. I'll go back and check in a minute.
There you go. I like it. I mean, they have everything. I am going to say though, I have been a little disappointed in some of the gear that they've come out this year for the playoffs.
Well, I really like the hats for the pennant, like that classic World Series with just the team logo on it. I like that. I think those are clean.
Except it was a plastic snap because I finally got mine today in the mail.
There was a plastic snap. Yeah, see, that's why I didn't order it. I saw it was not as fitted.
Yeah, I got that shirt today in the mail too.
I've washed this and worn it for 3 days in a row, for 3 games in a row, and they are 3-0.
Well, luckily they won because you washed it. Why are you watching?
This is how
I haven't watched.
I'm not superstitious, just a little stitious.
Yeah, just a little. I haven't watched this jersey since 2015.
We can tell this
over the conference.
And Jim, I think I've told you this, how stupid the distribution chain is on some of these products.
Agreed.
I ordered the American League Championship shirts the night that they won the championship, maybe an hour after they won. I got it today. In the meantime, a week ago, I was walking through Intercontinental Airport in Houston. They have them on the racks at the airport. And I almost bought one, even though I knew I had one coming in the mail, just because I avoided that. I'll be interested. I have to go back to the airport tomorrow. I'll be interested to see what they already have.
This one I bought at Academy that I'm wearing, the one that I got in the mail that I ordered the day of, is still sitting in plastic because it came in yesterday.
Yeah, and some of the delivery dates for the World Series stuff was like mid-November, November 15th to the 17th.
Oh, if you get it before Thanksgiving, it'll be a minor miracle.
Yeah. I'm taking my time with it.
And just at least you guys get to say that you guys are embracing it. Get the newspaper. All right, go in and get your newspaper.
If one of you could send me the newspaper,
yeah.
If one of y'all could grab one for me too, because I have.
How many do I have to grab in the morning? I'm getting up for church in the morning anyway. So 3. Okay.
I think 3 because I want to send one to Jordan. I can send one to Brian because I have other stuff to send him, and then.
So I'm getting 4 total.
4 total.
Yep. See, when the Cavs won, I bought 5 of them. I still have all 5.
Yeah.
And that's something that you just got to buy, right? Like you got to have at least one framed and everything, because that's something that, they may or may not happen. Obviously for my Cavs, that hasn't happened yet, but right? Like, I mean, that's cool stuff. You got to embrace those. Like, so the newspaper, pins, whatever, commemorative, $700 worth of stuff. Hey, listen.
Oh my God, you guys. Michael Schwab just pointed out that Castellanos was out on a fly ball to right field.
Always delivering right up to
it's true, Patrick. Trying to apologize.
It's true, Patrick. Always delivering right after you need it.
Yeah.
All right. I can't tell you when Castellanos came up in the bottom of the 9th in Game 5 with 2 outs, how many tweets I saw on my non-Astros feed that went, "I consider myself a man of faith." How many people were trying to will that just out of the sense of the joke? And if you posted that, I hate you. I hate you so much.
So right, we're going into now, tomorrow's Sunday and everything. So how are we, are you guys going to be able to concentrate on anything at all? Because this is great stuff. I mean, I would not be able to do anything. Well, obviously you have to, right? You got to, switch, flip the switch and go into work mode now.
Yeah, Brian actually has stuff to do for the
right. The rest of us, not really.
So the midterms are over. No, it's funny because, we have all lived in 2022, and 2022 kind of sucks balls. And Jess, it turns out.
Wait do you see what happens in the midterms?
Oh God, that's not.
Sigh. But Jess is like, you know what? I've got to be out of town, and I think we should just decorate for Christmas tomorrow, and then we're gonna watch a Christmas movie outside on our deck. So I get to go from this into Christmas, and therefore delay the mini void for another 2 weeks before after Christmas, where I realize, Ed, that we've got 2 months till minor league baseball.
Yeah, and Logovember, it's already out, and it is it's great stuff. I love the new logos that have come out for some of the minor league teams.
Ed, let me tell you how disciplined I've been. Okay,
you have not bought anything from them.
I haven't bought any of the new Logovember stuff.
Wow,
I got half off. This I know this will piss Tim off. I got a half off coupon for a movie level replica of a proton pack, and I did not buy it.
Wow, the Ghostbusters.
Christmas is just went away. What?
We've got Craig on there. I have to accompany a chair in the morning. In 2017, I had to play the organ for a funeral after staying at Academy until 2:30 to get shirts. I'll be pounding coffee.
I love this. The good thing is tomorrow is Sunday. That's a good thing, right? It's not like in the middle of the week or anything like that.
Well, Craig's a religion does music and religion, so he's working tomorrow. So Craig, shout out to you.
And hey, Craig,
I'm not sure booze is the appropriate shout out to someone who's got to be a choir director on Sunday morning, but shout out to you and John.
I get to play guitar at church tomorrow.
I get to do Christmas of a sort tomorrow. I fly to Vegas for 4 days. For a lot of people, that's a religious experience.
I think it is. I think it is a religious.
This is very true. This is very true.
I'm trying to think, because somehow Tim and I ended up being Cowboys fans, though we were raised in Houston. And,
how is that possible?
Well, it's a long story, but
Andy and I do wonder.
We were coming up for 3 Super Bowls right away, right? Like we just thought, oh, you win Super Bowls every year. That's what you do. Tim, this is way better than a Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean,
why? Why though? But why is it better than a Super Bowl?
Because I think it's the grind, man.
With us being Cowboys fans, there's a little bit. There's a sense of detachment also that we're not in it, right? As far as like last year when we won, we pushed it to a game 7, or however that worked out. The city, I was kind of driving around the city, and it's just a buzz, right? It's crazy. I'm sure it's nuts right now downtown. I'm sure it's insane. And so there's at least for me, I live in the Heights, so I'm kind of close to it. And but even with that, I think there's a little more attachment to the Astros just in general.
Well, I do think that's part of it. I also think, look, let's be honest, and I know Andy and Brian will be quick to agree. Cowboys fans equal Yankee fans. So if we don't win the Super Bowl, it's actually a super bad year.
Yeah,
right?
Sure. Yeah.
But with the Astros, it goes back to what you said, Ed. It's 162 games.
Yeah.
And I know that all the 4 Astros fans on here live it by pitch to pitch because we text each other through the games. There's never a moment where none of us doesn't know what's happening in any game.
Oh, I know. I'm now in North Carolina, and I literally bought the MLB package so I can watch all of my Guardians. I spend the money, right? I would not do the same thing for the Cleveland Browns.
That's probably a good idea for your sanity right now.
For my sanity, it was a good thing. Good decision.
Hey, Ed, I'm an Astros fan who lives in New Jersey and works in New York City.
Yep.
And I'm married to a Red Sox fan. Again, lives out of the region.
Yep.
And now investing in the MLB TV extra innings package is one of the best marital decisions we made.
Isn't it a wonderful thing?
Yes, it is. In part because we can watch our teams in separate rooms and don't have to get on each other.
There it is. There it is.
This, when you ask when it sank in, is my wife took pictures of me as the final out happened.
That's awesome.
Mentally before that, I'm like, well, 2017 was different because I didn't expect 2017.
Yeah,
it was just so. It was just so hard to win one game that series, much less this year. This was a very different experience. It felt to me because I expected to win. We were trying to exercise 2019 when we should have won. But my wife took these pictures of me. She posted it, she sent it to me, she texted to me. And I look like, Tim did when he was taking classes for my mother. I look giddy.
That's
giddy.
A good thing.
I look ridiculous. I look totally happy.
You look like every Houston Astros fans right now.
Yeah.
That's what happened. That's what you look like.
I look exactly the same as when she took those pictures of me 5 years ago.
You exercise the demons.
Yeah, I don't know if I exercise the demons, but good Lord, my team won the World Series tonight.
Good for you guys.
Just once. In 2017, I thought just once would have been enough.
And it's funny because I was going to say, Ed, you have no idea, but Ed, you do have an idea. Like the concept that we never thought this would ever happen once, and for it to happen twice already,
let alone twice, yeah.
And also, Craig assures us that he just has to play the piano. So, woo,
boom.
So, and a fourth appearance.
Yeah, true.
I mean, it's a whole lot.
It's just I was an Astros buddy. I was at the Dome 30 times a year. Tim almost died because he wanted to see the game better. So when like 3 years old, how old were you, Tim, when you climbed outside of the Dome and it crawled around and then back up on the fourth level? Like he could have been dead.
Yeah. Those rainbow seats. I mean, I remember going with our Boy Scout troops to those, rainbow seats.
Yep.
A lot of
they're awesome. The rainbow seats were awesome.
Yeah,
this is how far back I go. Is that my father's company had season tickets, and you could sign up to get it. Until we get it once a year. It was about 6 rows back from the visiting team dugout. And one of my memories of the first time we ever went is some guy was sitting in the front row and he had 6 cowbells in the rainbow pattern that spelled out the name of Enos Cabell, Cabell. I believe they were playing the Phillies. And one of the Phillies from the dugout got irritated with the cowbells ringing. So he reached up for the dugout and grabbed one of the cowbells. And so I hope whoever had those Enos Cabell cowbells really enjoyed, is still with us today and really enjoyed the victory over the Phillies. Got some revenge for 1980 for that person. Here's you, kind stranger.
All right, so I'm probably going to be bowing out here pretty soon. It's a little bit, 30 minutes after midnight here, but I want to get you guys on some final thoughts here on all of this, like the whole year, on how you guys are feeling here about this wonderful year that you guys have had for baseball.
Well, I think for me, it has been my best baseball season ever. And it isn't just because of the Astros, although that's a huge part of it. But, with Let's Get To, I'm getting to experience the best parts of America through this game. And, Ed, you and I have been in 2 games. We went from 0 to 2 games together. And Ed, you carry a tripod like nobody's business, man. I don't know. To me, it's just like it's this weird deal where I'm excited now. I think I'm thinking about my grandfather, who was not the most warm and affectionate man, but taught us baseball. And just it's all of these one things at once. And I just think it's a beautiful game, and I don't know how you can't not be romantic about it.
Nice. Who wants to go? Andy?
I mean, for me, it's just the culmination of a million text messages and a million instant message conversations with Jim and 70 episodes of baseball podcast with Brian and Jim, and talking to fans and going to games. And it'll be a little bit sudden tomorrow when I wake up and realize that it's all over until February.
That's so you, buddy. That is so you.
Until February.
Well, I mean, till February. I mean, literally, you get Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's off, and then we're right back at it.
That's right.
It's also the culmination of being a fan of a professional sports team that for many, 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 many years didn't do what it took to be in this position. And I'm so thankful for being able to have ownership in Jim Crane. Whatever you think about him, he's put this team in a position to win 2 championships in the last 6 years. He spent money that he said he was going to spend. That's a big deal in Houston because we haven't always had that owner. At one point, Ed, Ford Motor Credit owned our team. Ford Motor Credit wasn't exactly, making trades to get us better at the deadline.
Yeah.
So it's just it's those memories. It's going to games with my dad. It's weirdly thinking about my grandfather and his brother Frank. My grandfather, up until the day he died, wore a Detroit Tigers hat. His brother, who lived in Detroit, wore an Astros hat.
There you go.
And that's one of the things they had in common. They talked to each other about. So it's a lot of that stuff. It's that my daughter burst in the door and got to see the final 3 outs of the World Series, which is better on my part this time because in the 2017 World Series, I made my son stay in his room because he hadn't watched any of the game before we were winning.
Yes.
And I'll be damned if he was going to come out there and screw up the last 3 outs against the Dodgers.
That's hilarious.
You can watch it through a mirror on your computer or something. You're not coming out here.
Before we get to whoever's going next, Patrick Larson wants to congratulate Ed on being a great host. And of course he is, Patrick. And I'm going to use this time to shame Patrick and Ed. Don't forget, I need your videos for
baseball. No, you're right. I got you.
200th episode. And then Craig says, baseball is one of those shared family things. My dad was never athletic, but he took me to Brewers games growing up. And his dad took him to Braves games when he was growing up. I have a baseball signed by some of those 1958 Milwaukee Braves that my grandfather got signed. Yeah. That's it.
Yep.
And the 1958 Braves were a world championship team. And 60 some odd years later, we remember, I'm sure Craig and his grandfather remember both, Hank Aaron and Warren Spahn and the great, Hall of Famers from that team, but also, every player who contributed and is Ed, as you asked this question here, about what I remember. My pandemic hobby became blogging about the Astros because I never wanted to bake bread.
My pandemic hobby became a podcast. I get it, my friend.
And one of the joys of that, one of the joys of spending way too much time on Twitter talking about the Astros is that I get to remember. I remember this stuff better than I remember what happened in 2017, much less what happened in the previous years.
Yeah.
And then 2, some of this is reflection on we don't know what's going to happen with Twitter over the next week, much less year. Is how much that experience has been good to me because through this I've gotten to be on this podcast. I've gotten to meet friends like Andy and James who, I'm only 1 degree away from, right? I'm only 1 degree of separation away from. I know people who know them, but I didn't know them. And I'm, honored to get to be a part of this podcast. I'm, grateful that I figured out a way to expand my love of baseball, to enjoy it and to remember it and to appreciate the run of my team in the last couple of years, and to get to talk about baseball in the way I like to talk about it, and to expand what I think is the good stuff about baseball, in my way, but also get to participate in the good stuff about baseball, which James, you do on Let's Get To, in which Ed, you do on the Curve Rim, and that that it is so much bigger than what I have, and what Craig shared about his connection with his family, what the rest of you have done about that. Baseball's awesome, and this is a particularly great moment for baseball in Houston, and I get to be a little small part of it, and it's awesome.
Good for you.
Before we get to Tim, Ed, again, friend of the show, Emily Nyman, and the only way she can do, and Brian and I had a great time getting to hang out with her in Brooklyn. She tweets out, "Congrats, Astros fans," but the meme she shared says, "Fuck you, and I'll see you next season." And it's
very apropos.
I'd expect nothing less.
So much respect to Emily for that, and we'll see you in the ALCS next year, Emily.
I love it. Tim, talk to me.
Listen, I love this game. I love this team. And tonight's this great moment from this season that the team that is the best, the champs are here, okay? Let's go. Let's bring on 2023. I'm ready for it. No, but seriously, it's amazing. It's kind of maybe still hasn't hit, and I know that 2017 took a while to hit. It was a lot of this is real kind of thing. I remember calling Jimmy and crying for a while. Yeah, I think I cried at the end of the ALCS too. But it's amazing. It feels good. It's going to feel good for weeks. The void will start, and then you start playing, your sideline manager role, where you're trying to figure out what decisions we make. Like everybody in the city wanted to keep Carlos Correa, and I think I might have been one of them, But I'm ready for it. I love that we're winners, and I wish we can get some 39-30 hats together.
There are some championship 39-30s online.
Okay, cool. Great.
I'm going to give you guys a little bit of my thoughts here. Obviously, from the outside looking in, I'm a Guardians fan. This year has been a great year for baseball, in my opinion, for everybody included. I think my daughter asks me now, "Hey, Daddy, is there a baseball game going on?" And that's the best feeling in the world, right? That's right there. That's winning. Right. So I want to thank you guys for allowing me to host your show here, your World Series championship show of Go Astros. Congratulations, guys. You guys deserve it. And then, you know what? Here's on to 2023. So until then, guys, again, thank you for joining us. And then go Astros. All right. I'll say that for you guys.
All right. Hey, you know what? We always wrap with our thoughts, and then the word "Go Stros." And so I'll go first and say, I know Tim mentioned 2023. I'm gonna celebrate 2023 element and find that damn polo. Go Stros.
He hit it over the batter's eye. Over the batter's eye. 3-run home run tonight, just as he started the playoff. Go Stros.
Quienes muy macho? Framber Valdez. Costros.
How did that bat break so cleanly? How did it happen? Have you figured that out yet? Go Stros.